YouTube. Welcome to another edition of New Year Black Me. So, I hear a lot of propaganda and a lot of content about the black male, specifically a lot of negative things, how trifling they are, how they don't like black women, and how they're just criminals. That's what the media tries to say. Now, I know I did a video in regards to a group of black men that said they don't like black women, but that's not most of black men. There's so many great things about black men, and I think it's time that us as black women need to, dispel the myth in regards to black men. Now, I have some statistics for you. Now, these are from 2013. Of course, that means the numbers are growing. 21.5 million are black men. So the myth that there's not a lot of black men here for you to choose from, that dispels the myth. And um, of that black men, the average is 31 years old. So if you're around that age, there's a lot of eligible black men around that age. Now let's talk about education, because a lot of people, or more specifically the media, tries to make it seem like just black men in general are stupid and uneducated. Now, I want to go ahead and tell you the difference between just black men in general and then the average statistics of men. Less than a high school diploma of all men is 14%. Black men, 18%. High school graduate or GED, 35%, and then 28 is the average. College, some college or no degree, 24% black men have some college but no degree though. That means they just attended school and got some college education. But the average is 21% for all men. So that's not too much different. Associate degree, it's the same, 7% across the board. Across the board between all men and then specifically black men. Bachelor's degree or higher, 17% have a bachelor's degree that are black men, and then 30% is all men. And then attended college, 48% of black men attended college, and then 58% all men attended college. So although some of the numbers are off, where in some areas there's quite a good amount of black men that are educated. Either they attended college or they have some type of degree, high school diploma. And I wanted to, now that we know about education, let's take a look at the employment. Now, the average African American male ages 16 to 24 had a lower percentage rate in the labor force, 67% compared to all males, which is 80%. So you have 11.2% are unemployed, and the average is 7.3 upon all men. Poverty level, and the men below the poverty level is at 26%, where the average is 15% among males. And then 16 and up, earning salary is $37,000, and $48,000 is all men. The occupation for a white collar job is 42% for black males, 75% all men. Blue collars, 36%, and 17% for all males. 23% in service occupation, and 8% all men. Now, before I move on, blue collar occupations, which are held by 36% of working black men. So before I go in a little bit more, the thing about it is the unemployment rate is extremely high upon black men. So when you're trying to look for someone if you're looking for someone to vote for, you should be voting for someone who's going to help the unemployment population among black males. Because when people are not working and they're already below the poverty rate, and then the jobs, as you can see, that are provided for them are blue collar jobs. And it's not to say that the only reason why they have blue collar jobs is because, that they're all with no education, because it shows you that there are a good deal of men that have education that are black. So the thing is, you give them a job, construction or blue collar jobs, which a lot of them are minimum wage. The unemployment rate is high, the poverty level is high, and you expect, like, criminal activity is bred based off of proximity. It's based off of the environment and the poverty levels. If people are making money and they can provide for their family and they're working all day, they have less opportunity to get in trouble. If the schools are trash and no one's making sure that all schools have the same amenities that magnet schools and other schools have, then people will get more education and then they can further that education. So when you don't care about the black communities, and when I say you, I mean representatives, then you won't have to worry about prisons being filled with criminals, because it's not just a black thing. It's just an issue based on circumstances. If other groups are in these same circumstances, we're gonna get the same result. So it's not a black issue. It's an economic issue that's happening here. And if representatives and the people you're voting for aren't looking to find ways to provide solutions for that, then they're not for you. Though if you can raise the minimum wage to at least 15, they can at least get out of the poverty line, and they can prevent themselves from having to work 2 jobs and not be able to take care of their children or see their children. So you hear so much propaganda about men and relationship and how they're deadbeat dads and how they're horrible people. But here's some interesting statistics in regards to black men in regards to relationships. So 86% of black men marry black women, and only 7% have a white spouse, 4% is Hispanic, and 3% are some other race. Since they have the kneeling situation, the black men kneeling because of racial inequality, and people are saying they're disrespecting the flag. I wanted to bring something to you. So if the entire black population altogether is only about 15%, and if we're still that low in population compared to the general population, we have 14% of black men are veterans. 15% of all men in general are veterans. So there's a lot of veterans among black men, and that's just men. So not including women and not including those who are still in the military. More black males are more family oriented with their children. They sit down with their children. They, eat, bathe, read to their children compared to other races. So the fact that people are saying, more specifically the media and people who are ignorant to what is really happening, the statistics prove that black males are more involved with their children than any other race, although that they may not be married. So when we say there's a lot of single black women, it doesn't mean that just because they're single that the fathers are never around. There's a presence of black men in these children's lives. Not all of them, but there is a presence of a lot of black men being involved in their children's life, though they're not married to the mother of the child. This is 2013. So there are 2.5 million children that live with their father, while 1.7 million do not. Now, there are some fathers that are not there that is systematically targeting black men and trying to dismantle alpha black males in general. So it's time to take a look into that, and instead of always talking about the negative of black men, because while there's trifling black men, there's trifling other men. So that's all I've got to say. Hit the like button, comment, and subscribe.